Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei was son of Sirzechs and become the Devil Gamer Part 1. Before we start, please go support James Hall 137 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. Prologue. Game start. Issei's POV. As we was heading back home from the airport, I was honestly tired, but happy me and my parents just got back from vacation, and even though it's only 1 PM we went to the United States and spent 2 weeks on a bit of a road trip over there. It was fun, but I'm tired right now. That's when I heard my mom. Mom? Issei, sweetheart, are you tired? I just nodded tiredly as I heard my dad chuckle. Dad? Yeah, that tends to happen when you spend time in America, but since you have to start school back up in a week, so try to stay awake. I just nodded. Mom? Giggling, I don't think he's listening, honey. Dad? Sighs, I figured, oh well, he can try tomorrow. Mom? Panicking, honey, watch out. As I opened my eyes to see what was happening, I saw a car coming at us. My eyes widened as it felt like a whole minute went by, but in reality it wasn't even a second as it slammed against our car. As it happened, my head hit something hard as I blacked out. Time skip. Third person POV. It was raining still as police and firefighters was still at the crash, as well as an ambulance. 2 police officers went to the back expecting to find a corpse, but when one of them felt for a pulse, his eyes widened as he yelled, "Police officer. We got a live one." Just then everyone scrambled to get the kid out of the car. It was miraculous that he was even alive. Time skip. Issei's POV. As I slowly opened my eyes, I felt strange. As I looked around, I only saw darkness till I saw big letters that said, "Aim start. Think yes or no." I was so confused I tried to wake up, but I couldn't. What was this? It's so strange. Issei. Yes. Just then a bright light flashed as I closed my eyes as I heard beep, beep, beep. I opened my eyes to see an unfamiliar ceiling. As I slowly sat up, I was in a hospital bed. There was things in my vision. I tried to blink them away, but it didn't work. As I then saw this. Would you like a tutorial on the gamer system? Yes, no. Issei. I still think this is a dream, but yes. Just then it pointed at the 3 bars at the bottom of my vision as it pointed to the red one. This is your horsepower. Once it hits 0 you die. If you lose an arm or a leg or have a hole in your gut you will take the damage, but it will automatically regrow as a result. It will take MP or magical power to regrow it. It pointed at the middle green bar. This is your stamina, meaning when this runs out you can't run or jump. Also some attacks don't use MP, but stamina instead. I then saw it point at the last bar that was blue. It said MP in it. This is your MP or your magical power. You use it to incorporate into magical attacks, like for example, if you learn or acquire the skill Fireball, it takes magical power to cast it. It pointed at the small circle in the top right corner as it said, "This is your mini-map to lock on to places that you've been before or will show you who is around." People who are blue on the map are allies, people who are green on the map is neutral, people who are red are enemies. I then saw it point to the top left corner of my vision. As I saw this. Think settings, that is what this is. Issei. Settings. Just then I saw a few different options as it then pointed. This is a switch that will turn off your emotions. You won't feel any remorse for anything when this is on. You must say emotionless mode on or off to activate or deactivate it. It then pointed at the one under it. This is the shop. You will be able to buy things from here later on. It then closed automatically as I saw this. Think stats. Issei. Stats. Just then I saw this. Stats. Name. Issei Haidu. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil human hybrid. Title. None. Fame. None. Sacred gear. Level. 1. HP. 100 100s, regen 10 per minute. Stamina. 100 100s, regen 25 per minute. MP. 350 350s, regen 50 per minute. Strength. 5. Endurance. 5. Agility. 5. Intelligence. 5. Wisdom. 5. Luck. 0. Money. $0. When your level goes up it will increase each of your stats by 1 each and will give you 5 points to do with as you please. You can put them into any of your stats besides luck. It goes up occasionally when your level goes up. Before anything else I saw that at my race it said I was half devil. Why is that? Notice. Your devil powers is wanting to awaken. Would you like to forcefully awaken them? Yes, no. Issei. Oh yes. This is so confu. I held my head as a big headache started so suddenly. It was so painful. I stood up as I wobbled as I made noise not meant to as I grabbed the edge of the sink where the doctor would have used to wash his hands. As I looked at the mirror in front of me, slowly I saw my eyes as they turned from a light brown to emerald green as they then glowed slightly as I saw something else as well at the bottom of my vision. My horsepower, stamina and MP was regenerating as I said in a low panting voice. Issei. Panting S stats. And like that I saw it. Stats. Name. Issei Haidu. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil human hybrid. Title. None. Fame. None. Sacred gear. Level. 1. HP. 110 500s, regen 25 per minute. Stamina. 125 500s, 50 per minute. MP. 400 halves 350, regen 100 per minute. Strength. 5. Endurance. 5. Agility. 5. Intelligence. 5. Wisdom. 5. Luck. 0 points. 0. Money. $0. I panted as it went away. What the hell was that? Before anything else I saw this. New skills acquired. Destruction magic creation and manipulation level 1 100. Ice magic manipulation and creation level 1 100. I don't know why, but I felt like that was important for some reason, but before I could think about that my eyes saw more in the room than they did before as I then saw this. You have awakened your devil heritage from your father, the power of destruction and ice magic from your mother. Issei. I don't understand this at all. Neither my parents had powers. Wait, I almost forgot this is a dream, a crazy dream, but a dream. I looked into my now green eyes closer as I then saw this. New skill acquired. Observe. Level 1 100. Details. Allows the user to use this skill to see how strong someone is or to give details on items. I sighed. This was getting strange. As I looked at myself I looked basically the same, but a few changes. I looked behind me to see a window, and out the window was a small area where they let trees, bushes and flowers grow free, and in the center was a stone bench. Saw I was on the first floor, so I opened up the window and stepped out on the grass. It felt nice on my feet. I had pants and my shirt on still. As I went over to the stone bench, as I sat down it felt calming out here. Small time skip. I was just sitting there taking in the sun. I had my eyes closed looking up towards the sky as I heard footsteps coming closer to me. As I heard, "Doctor? Issei Haidu?" I looked up at him as I opened my eyes. His widened slightly as I said, "Issei? Yes, doctor?" A bit frantic, "Can you please come back to your room? We need to make sure that the crash hasn't had any bad effects on your body." Just then I remember what had happened. A car hit us, as I then stood up rather quickly as the nurse with him came over to my side for some reason. "Issei? Worried? What about my parents? Are they okay?" "I'm completely fine." "Are they fine? Tell me please." "Nurse. Please calm down. You may have injuries that you haven't noticed. Please, we will explain what has happened. Please dear." She looked at least 50. I sighed as I followed them back to my room. I'm Skip. After a bunch of tests was over. Issei. Even if this is a dream, I'm dying to know how my mom and dad are. I then heard the doctor as I asked. Issei. So what's up, doc? Nurse. Giggling. Doctor. Sighs. Well, it seems that your eyes have changed color due to you hitting your head. To simplify terms. Issei. Not really worried about myself at the moment. Doctor. Yes, I know you're still worried, but please stay calm now. We did a CAT scan and found out you do have a bit of brain damage. Basically you'll be normal, but you'll have these ditzy spells. If you take the medication we give you, it should reduce the chances of it ever happening. I nodded as he then said to the nurse. Doctor. Nurse, would you please leave? I need to tell him about his parents. This immediately sent me red flags as she nodded and left as he sighed and sat down on a stool. As I sat on the hospital bed he put his clipboard down as he sighed. Doctor. Kid, I never was good at this. I'm going to give it to you straight. When the crash happened, your mother and father was killed in it on impact, as well as the other driver in the other car. I'm sorry for your loss. It took me a few seconds to respond. Issei. This isn't a dream, is it? Doctor. I'm sorry, it's not. He then got up and said. Doctor. I know this is hard on you, but when we took a bit of your blood when you first came in, it seemed that it was a match with another in our system. We are currently trying to contact him. Contacting him is Sirzechs Grimory. Have you ever heard of him? I slowly shook my head. This was so weird. Doctor. I'll leave you be. He then left as I felt sad, but I knew they wouldn't want me to be sad for them, but be glad I'm safe and sound, not to mope and cry. I went over to my window and went outside and sat back on the stone bench as I saw this. Tutorial completed. Here are your rewards. Rewards. 100x $100 win skill book. Would you like to accept these rewards? Yes, no. I sighed and thought yes as I saw this. Level up x1. Issei. Stats. Stats. Name. Issei Haidu. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil human hybrid. Title. None. Fame. None. Sacred gear. Level. 2. HP. 500 550s, regen 25 per minute. Stamina. 500 550s, regen 50 per minute. MP. 2350 2400 regen 100 per minute. Strength. 6. Endurance. 6. Agility. 6. Intelligence. 6. Wisdom. 6. Luck. 0. Money. $100. Points. 5. I then put my points in stats. I'll just treat this like a game. Stats. Name. Issei Haidu. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil human hybrid. Title. None. Fame. None. Sacred gear. Level. 2. HP. 550 600s, regen 25 per minute. Stamina. 550 600s, regen 50 per minute. MP. 2450 2500 regen 100 per minute. Strength. 7. Endurance. 7. Agility. 7. Intelligence. 7. Wisdom. 7. Luck. 0 points. 0. Money. $100. I felt lighter and stronger as I looked at my body. I couldn't see any noticeable difference, but something was definitely up, maybe it was just very subtle. I decided I would try to see that skill, but how should I do that and as if I was being answered. Think inventory. I did as it said as I then saw a screen that said inventory and I looked and saw this. Inventory, skill books, magic circle manipulation and creation. Details. Allows the user to create and manipulate magic circles. Magic circles are used to easily control magic without worrying it will go out of control, mostly used with powerful magic like destruction magic, unless the user is a master at it. Would you like to learn this skill? Yes, no. I thought yes as everything then closed. Third person POV. We go to the underworld where Sirzechs Lucifer is getting a rather interesting call at the moment. Sirzechs. What do you mean this child has the same blood as me? You're saying that he's related to me? He waited a moment as they continued. Sirzechs. There may have been a mix-up. You want me to come in and give a fresh sample? He thought about for a second. Sirzechs. If it gets me out at doing paperwork for 5 minutes I'll do anything. Sure, I'll be glad to come and give blood. After that they hung up. Sirzechs. Hey grayfia, you there? She then opened the door to his office as she said. Grayfia. Yes my king. Sirzechs. Sweat drops. You don't have to do that if we're alone, we are married. He then saw his wife made her way over and pinch his cheek as she pouted slightly. Grayfia. Pinching his cheek while slightly pouting. My king, I am simply doing my job. He pulled away as he then rubbed his cheek a bit as he said. Sirzechs. Rubbing cheek. We need to head to Kuo. I got a call about a kid matched my DNA, so we are going there. They can take a fresh batch and check while we are there. I'd like you to go and get the sample they already have of this kid's to be absolutely certain. Take it to our own doctors. She had a sad look on her face as he hugged her. Sirzechs. I know it's hard but please do this. She nodded into his chest as they both pulled away to go get ready. Time skip. Sirzechs and grayfia was right outside of the hospital as she casted a spell to keep herself invisible because this would seem weird if humans saw it. Sirzechs. You really like your costume, huh grayfia? She pouted and was about to pinch his cheek when they went inside, but a doctor came up to them so she didn't. Doctor? Are you Sirzechs Gremory? Sirzechs. Yes I am. Doctor? Aw, sorry about this, please come this way. He nodded as they both followed him. After a few minutes they came into a room where they had everything ready as Sirzechs asked. Sirzechs. If you don't mind me asking, who is this boy you called me here about? Doctor? His name is Issei. Sirzechs nodded towards grayfia as she then left to see if she could go get his blood or nah where they stored it as he then sat down in a chair. Issei's POV. I was currently in a corner so no one would see what I am doing. I am using a bit of magic to do this. It wasn't anything big, but it was fun to do. It was as big as a small flower, but it was cool. I'm trying to shape it, and now with the help of a blue magic circle, a small one. It was a bit hard, but I finally did it. Issei. In awe. Whoa. After a few minutes I made 2 more of them as I then saw this. Ice magic creation and manipulation has leveled up level 2 100s. Issei. So playing with my magic levels it up. I then destroyed the flowers and started to make more of them. Small time skip. Third person POV. After he gave blood and they swabbed his mouth for DNA to see if he is really related to Issei, he saw his queen come in and nodded him as she left through a magic circle as the doctor then said. Doctor? While we wait for the results, would you like to meet him? Sirzechs. That would be nice. The doctor nodded as he left. Sirzechs followed him. Doctor? Don't mention his parents or his family. Sirzechs nodded as the doctor went on. Doctor? He has stayed outside for a while now ever since he got news of his family. He nodded as they stopped at a door that leads to their garden. Doctor? He's in here. The doctor then left as Sirzechs went inside the area as he looked around till he saw a small figure in the upper left corner crouched down doing something. Sirzechs. I can feel magic coming off him quite a lot in fact. Sirzechs got closer till he could see over the child's shoulder. When did he? His eyes widened at what he saw. It was 4 ice flowers, while the kid had a small blue magic circle in his right hand as he shaped a 5th one. Issei's POV. As I finished the 5 flower I saw this. Ice magic manipulation and creation has leveled up level 5 100s. This was really fun. Magic is awesome. I then noticed a shadow over me as I turned to see a man with crimson hair there as my eyes widened slightly. He crouched down to my level and asked. Can you show me how you make these ice flowers with magic? I was so confused till he said. My name is Sirzechs. I know about magic and can use it, so it's okay. See, watch. He then got closer as he pointed near my flower as a small flame came forth and took shape as a flower. My eyes widened in awe. Issei. Whoa, that's so cool. Sirzechs. Chuckles, yes it is, though I don't have an affinity for ice magic like you do it seems. He then looked at me as I made another small ice spike, as I then used a magic circle to start to shape it into a flower as he asked while I did so. Sirzechs. Why are you using a magic circle? Issei. It doesn't cost as much mana and it helps me control it. If I lose control of it, then that would be bad. I saw him nod as I continued till I finally finished as he smiled and asked curiously. Sirzechs. Do you by any chance know any other magic? Issei. Yeah I do, I have this magic called destruction magic, but because it's called that I don't really want to try it out cause well I'm afraid like the name says it could cause destruction. I saw his eyes widened at that as he then placed a finger to the floor and two things came out of it as a half circle went around the outside where we was as he says. Sirzechs. Please use, I need to know the barriers I just put up was to keep anyone away and so the magic doesn't leave his room. We both stood up as I went over to a more open area than where we was as I held out my hand. Issei. Are you sure? Sirzechs. It's okay, I'm right here, I will stop it, I promise. I nodded as I closed my eyes and started to put my MP into my hand as I then started to channel my destruction magic into my hand. As I did I opened my eyes to see a small ball of destruction magic. I then heard him, he was behind me so I couldn't see him. Sirzechs. Holding back now, shoot it up. I nodded as I raised my hand with it in it and launched it upwards. As soon as it hit the barrier it got destroyed as I then heard. Sirzechs. There is only one way to get the power of destruction. I looked at him as he held out a ball of destruction magic as it then vanished into thin air as my eyes widened. Sirzechs. You must inherit it from my family, you must be born with this power and that you have ice magic just like my wife does only confirms that you are my kidnapped child. He looked at me with a smile as a straight tear fell down from his face. Issei. And no, that can't be, I already have a mother and father. Sirzechs. That may be true, but let's let the doctors tell us what they find. I couldn't help but nod in agreement. Chapter 1. Son of the Devil. Sirzechs. I'm sorry, I may have gotten ahead of myself, I'm sorry. Issei. Sitting down on a bench, it's fine. I saw Sirzechs sit down beside me as he asked. Sirzechs. So I've heard that school's been out for a bit, do anything fun? I nodded. Issei. Me and my parents went on a road trip in America. Sirzechs. That sounds fun. Issei. Size, yeah it was. Sirzechs. So what do you like to do for fun? Issei. Thinking well, I like playing video games, reading manga, watching anime, but now I'm thinking that since I have access to magic, I'll be trying to do that more. Sirzechs. So how long have you been able to use magic? Issei. Well, today's my first time using it. This seemed to catch him off guard. Sirzechs. Wow, you must be a natural at it then. I just shrugged my shoulders as he asked. Sirzechs. How did you discover it? Issei. When the doctor told me about the news of my parents, then after he left I kinda. Sirzechs. Lost control. I just nodded, I didn't want to lie, but how else would he believe me? Sirzechs. So what happened? Issei. Just a fog that made any liquid in the room I was in freeze a bit, but nothing too bad. Sirzechs. And the destruction magic. Issei. I came out here to see about my ice magic and I tried to make a ball of ice, but something else came out and well, it kinda exploded in my face, that's why I called it destruction magic. Sirzechs. Chuckles, it's a hard magic to control, that is for sure. Just then the doctor and nurse came out as the doctor said. Doctor? Nurse, please take Mr. Haidu to run a physical, it's time for his anyway. The nurse nodded as I sighed and got up and followed her. Third person Pav. We watch as Issei leaves the garden as the door closes, the doctor says while holding out a file. Doctor? Congratulations, it's a boy. Sirzechs. He's my child, isn't he? Doctor? That is what the results say, Mr. Gremory, this is all his medical records and info on the medication he will need to take because of the crash. Sirzechs. Crash. We leave them to discuss about that and go to the underworld where Grayfia received some rather interesting news. Doctor? Yes, the Dna you gave us is a match to both your own and to Lord Lucifer. He then left as Grayfia put her hand over her mouth as a tear fell down from it. Time skip. Issei's Pav. As I was eating a cookie that the nice nurse left me, I saw the doctor come in and he had a file with him as he then said after I finished my cookie. Doctor? So how's it go with that guy? Issei. He seemed nice. Doctor? Holds out file, you may want to see this. I took the file a bit out of confusion as he said. Doctor? You're going to want to sit down. I did as I was told. As I opened it I was skimming through it as my eyes slowly widened as I asked in a shaky voice. Issei. This is adoption papers. Doctor? Your parents never told you, I take it? I shook my head, I had no idea. Doctor? I was told that they came in with you, said they found you was healthy, and after a month we couldn't find your parents, they came back and wanted to adopt you, and so they named you Issei and gave you their last name. I was in shook still. Doctor? But now we have found your father. Issei. That guy. I saw the doctor nod his head. Doctor. Yes, he is your biological father, the proof is in your hands. Issei. Inhales. I wish they would have told me. Doctor. Most would not be so calm at this time. Issei. Yeah, I get that. Doctor. This Sirzechs has already requested custody of you. He's right now doing the paperwork. Once a background check is made and everything is in order, you will be adopted into his family. I nodded as he laid down a bottle of pills and he said, Doctor. These are the pills that will keep those ditzy spells from coming up, but there's still a chance that they will occur. Here is your excuse for school about them. Take one a day in the morning. I nodded as I asked, Issei. Am I clear to go home? I saw the doctor nod as I grabbed the pills and left with the file as well. Time skip. Once I made it home, I threw the pills and file at the couch, not caring if it was there or not, as I went up to my room. Third person POV. We leave Issei and go to outside the hospital where Sirzechs was sitting on a bench holding his head in his hands, contemplating what he had just learned. Sirzechs. His adoptive parents, they died and he lived, their bodies was unrecognizable, and that was 2 days ago, and he learned that he was adopted. I hope I can help him. No, I will help him. Just then a magic circle appeared and out popped Grayfia. She immediately fell into his arms as she silently cried as she said, Grayfia. Crying, he's here, we finally have our baby boy back. He held her to his chest as he said, Sirzechs. Yes, we have him back, but things are very different. He won't really see us as parents. Grayfia. Crying, I'm just glad to know he's safe. Sirzechs. As am I, but I need to inform you on quite a bit. She nodded as she wiped her tears and nodded as she sat down beside him. Time skip. After explaining. After he explained a lot of things, she finally asked, Grayfia. His medicine, do you have it? Sirzechs. Shakes head. No, the doctor said he took it and left to go home. Grayfia. Was that a wise decision? He could do something he may regret with his emotions up like that. Sirzechs. I don't think he would. He may be sad, but it seemed like he had a good head on his shoulders. I don't believe he would do anything wrong. Grayfia. We need to go to high. Sirzechs. No, he has had enough for one day. We should let him mull over what has happened and come over tomorrow. We will see what we need to do then. Right now we need to get a room ready for him. She nodded and said, Grayfia. That would be best. Time skip. The both of them was in the underworld currently and going over everything for Issei's room. Grayfia. I don't think he needs that many video games. Sirzechs. It's only 250, not that many. Grayfia. And the literal crates of manga and anime. Sirzechs. 10 crates of each. Grayfia. Did he say he was a weeb? Sirzechs. No, he said he liked this stuff. If he was a weeb, it'd be a lot more, trust me. Grayfia. Also, I saw you looking into magic tutors. Why is that? Sirzechs. Well, when I found him, he was using ice magic to create ice flowers. He smirked a bit as her eyes widened at that. Sirzechs. He got your magic as well as mine. Issei's POV. It was nighttime, 9 p.m, but I was so mad. Why couldn't they just tell me I was adopted? I wouldn't have cared. I'm their son. I rolled over in my bed as I felt my stomach growl, but I didn't feel like eating. I just wish I could release this anger I have on something. Just then I saw this. 2 skills have been unlocked. Instant dungeon. Details. Allows the user to go to another dimension to fight hordes of enemies. 1 hour in there is 1 minute out in the real world. Escape dungeon. Details. Allows the user to escape the instant dungeon. Would you like to use instant dungeon? Yes, no. I couldn't help it. I need to release this frustration. So I thought yes. Just then I was on my bed anymore. I was in a field. I got onto my feet as I saw what looked like a magical circle as something crawled out of it as it looked dead but alive somehow. I used observe on it. Observe. Race. Zombie. Level. 4. HP. 70/70. Stamina. 40/40. MP. 0. Strength. 4. Endurance. 3. Agility. 2. Intelligence. 0. Wisdom. 0. Luck. 0. I focused my magical power into my right hand as I then used my ice magic to make a long spear of ice. It was actually easy as I saw this. Ice magic has leveled up level 6 100s. I made sure the tips of it was sharp as I saw the zombie coming at me. I looked at it and took a breath as I then took my spear of ice and used it when it got close enough and sliced its head clean off as I then saw this. You have killed X1 zombie. You have gained 20 XP. Just then I saw 3 more magic circles appear around me as 3 more zombies popped out of them as they got up. I got my ice spear as I then used it to stab one in the head. I took it back quickly as I stepped to the side as one lunged at me but fell on the ground instead. While it was on the ground I took the ice spear and drove it in its head killing it. I took my ice spear back as the last one came at me. I sidestepped and sliced its head off as I did that. I saw this. You have killed X3 zombies. You have gained 60 XP. Level up X1. I looked at my stats. Stats. Name. Issei Haidu. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil human hybrid. Title. None. Race. None. Sacred gear. Level. 3. HP. 650/650. Regen 25 per minute. Stamina. 650 regen 50 per minute. MP. 2600 regen 100 per minute. Strength. 8. Endurance. 8. Agility. 8. Intelligence. 8. Wisdom. 8. Luck. 0 points. 5. Money. $100. I then sighed as I saw a few more magic circles. Time skip. I laid on the ground as I saw this. You have slain x20 zombies. You have gained 400 exp. Level up x2. I panted as I looked at my stats. Stats. Name. Issei. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil human hybrid. Idol. None. Fame. None. Sacred gear. Level. 5. HP. 750 regen 25 per minute. Stamina. 750 regen 50 per minute. MP. 2800 regen 100 per minute. Strength. 10. Endurance. 10. Agility. 10. Intelligence. 10. Wisdom. 10. Luck. 5 points. 15. Money. $100. I then put my points into my stats. Stats. Name. Issei. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil human hybrid. Idol. None. Fame. None. Sacred gear. Level. 5. HP. 887 regen 25 per minute. Stamina. 700 regen 50 per minute. MP. 2900 regen 100 per minute. Strength. 13. Endurance. 13. Agility. 13. Intelligence. 13. Wisdom. 13. Luck. 5 points. 0. Money. $100. I sighed as I finally said, Issei. Escape dungeon. I was then laying on my bed again neat as I decided to try and sleep since I vented my emotions for now. Time skip. As I woke up I was under my covers. I just wanted to rot here, but unfortunately. Knock knock. Issei. Phew, I have to get up. I got up and went downstairs and I got to the door. I opened it up to see Sirzechs. Smiles. It's nice to see you again, son. Issei. Oh yeah, I forgot about yesterday. Just then I heard him say, Sirzechs. You're like me in that regard. I then asked, Issei. So who's the maid? Sirzechs. She's the Grimory family maid as well as my wife and queen. Just then I heard, Sirzechs. And your mother. I was shocked to say the least bit. Before I could even think to utter something I was engulfed in a hug by my biological mother. She put my head in her chest. I can't breathe. Grayfia. Almost crying. Oh, my baby boy is back. Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. Issei. Suffocating mid-air. I was then pulled away by father as he said, Issei. Panting for air. Sirzechs. Don't do that, you'll kill him. Grayfia. Pouting slightly. Fine. I then ask after a minute, Issei. Out of curiosity, is the maid outfit a kink? Just then I saw a dark aura-like thing around my mother as my father sweat dropped. Grayfia. Sickly sweet smile. And how do you know about kinks? Issei. Very nervous. Chapter 2. The test and a gift. Small time skip. After I was saved by my father about why I knew what a kink was, I invited them in. As we sat in the living room I saw my mother was carefully looking at everything as if inspecting it. I wasn't surprised she was worried. I then heard my father. Sirzechs. I know you've been through a lot yesterday, but I don't want to take you away from your house where you and your family lived. I and your mother here have sole custody of you. He paused to let me sink that info and I nodded and he continued. Sirzechs. You know about your human part but know nothing of the devil world or that of the supernatural. I had a thought. Issei. I was thinking, since I was turned into a half-human by magic, then is it possible for me to be turned back into a devil the same way I was turned half-human? Sirzechs. Unfortunately I did look into that last night. If we are to turn you back into a pure-blooded devil, we need to know the devil exact spell the one who kidnapped you used on you, or else you could turn into something unrecognizable or worse, die from the shock. I nodded in understanding. I then heard. Sirzechs. Now then, I believe I should continue from earlier. What I was getting at with you know nothing of your devil heritage. Both me and your mother think it would be best if you were to come down to the underworld to see it for yourself. I was about to say something, but he held up a hand to stop me. Sirzechs. I am on the school board in Kuo Academy, so it isn't a problem for you to stay an entire week down there. I believe that will be long enough for you to at least learn about it and to meet the rest of the family. I shifted uncomfortably as I asked. Issei. Have you told them? Sirzechs. About. Just then my mother elbowed his gut as she then said. Grayfia. Yes, sweetheart, I have notified the Grimory clan about us finally finding you and they are what's the word? Sirzechs. They're nervous. Did you tell them about him still being half-human? Grayfia. Yes, I have, and they said that it didn't matter as long as we have found him and that he is safe. They are waiting to meet him. Sirzechs. Ah, so how about it, wanna meet them over lunch today, Issei? I thought about it for a minute till I said. Issei. I know you all want to have the child you had in your arms a long time ago, but I think that you should know Sirzechs. That we can never replace the ones who raised you. Grayfia. We both have come to terms with that and are willing to now be in your life since they cannot anymore. Sirzechs. We will never want to replace them. We are very grateful that they took such good care of you, and to help show our gratitude towards them, I'm sorry to mention this but. Grayfia. You did hear about that your Issei. That they was unrecognizable, yes, they told me during my physical. I saw them both not as my father said. Sirzechs. We paid for everything they needed, we just need to know where they wanted to be buried. Grayfia. We know it might be hard, but can we go up to their room and look through things to see if we can find information about it? They didn't have it on file at the hospital. Issei. Yeah, sure, go ahead, let me know if you find anything important, I'm probably just going to take a nap. Sirzechs. Sounds good, rest after you wake up, I'll have your mother here to give you a few books about Devil Society, just something to get you ready. Issei. Sounds cool. I then laid down on the couch I was on as darkness slowly took me. I'm Skip. As I slowly woke up I felt warmth on me, I looked and saw a throw blanket on me as I saw my father in a recliner reading some papers as well as drinking what I'm going to assume is coffee as he asked without looking away from the papers in his hands. Sirzechs. Have a nice nap. Issei. Oh yeah. I say sitting up taking the throw blanket off me as I asked. Issei. Where's mother? Sirzechs. She is currently making a light breakfast, I hope you don't mind, but it's still a while till lunch, it's being held at 2 p.m. it's just. He looked at his watch as he then said. Sirzechs. 15 till 10, we need to leave at 11:30 so we can get on the train there, you can read the books to start learning about your devil heritage. Issei. Confused, train is hell on earth. Sirzechs. Chuckles, no, the train we take to get there, I believe the best way is it travels through space to go to the underworld. Issei. How do we get to it? Sirzechs. We go to the train station here in Kuo, no one but devils and people who have my permission can board the train. I was confused, I guess father saw this as he said. Sirzechs. Ah yes, I don't believe I told you I am the leader of all the devils in the underworld. My eyes widened at this, I had no idea. Sirzechs. Chuckles, yes, I guess it would be shocking to find out if your own father was king of hell or Lucifer himself. I blinked as I then said. Issei. I need a nap to register this information. I say taking the throw blanket back, and as I put it on I heard. Grayfia. Breakfast is ready. I saw my mother come in as I heard. Sirzechs. Chuckles, come on Issei. Issei. Groans Fian. I get up and got to the kitchen to see 3 plates of food, each looked like this. Grayfia. I thought an English breakfast would be a good idea. Issei. Sits down, doesn't matter, I'm hungry. I saw mother and father sit down as. Sirzechs. Chuckles, yes, let's eat. Small time skip. We was all almost finished with our food as I heard my father ask. Sirzechs. So Issei, I'm curious, what are your favorite foods? Issei. Well, I guess I'd have to go with BBQ ribs, cheeseburgers, roast noodles, pizza, chicken tenders, that's just something I really like. Sirzechs. Ah well, you was in America, what was the most interesting thing over there? I haven't been there in a while. Issei. I think it would have to be when we stopped to look at a giant rubber band ball. This caught their attention as they looked at me. Sirzechs. Wait, what? Issei. Yeah, honestly it's really cool, they even have a toilet graveyard. Sirzechs. Okay, next vacation I get I'm going to America just to check it out. Grayfia. Why a toilet graveyard? Issei. Not sure, but it was cool just to see it. I then saw everyone was finished as I got up and took my plate to the sink, I was about to start washing it till I heard my mother as she came over to me with hers and my father's plate. Grayfia. I'll do that, sweetheart. Issei. You sure? Grayfia. Yes, I quite enjoy doing work like this. I just shrugged and moved to let her do it as I went into the living room. As I go in there I heard my father. Sirzechs. Hey, you should pack enough things for a bit over a week. I nodded as I went up to my room to pack for my trip to hell. I'm Skip. We was currently on a train after I read those books about the underworld. I was sitting at my father's side as he pulled out an oldish looking letter from his suit as he handed it to me. Sirzechs. This was left for you if something was to happen to your parents. I took the envelope with shaky hands as I pulled out a letter. Issei. If you are reading this, son, then both me and your mother have died. This was left to tell you a few things, know that we didn't want to tell you because we thought it wouldn't have mattered, but we know you'd find out one way or another. There's no easy way to say this, Issei, but you are adopted. We took you in as a baby. We never felt once of having a child of our own because we already had a son. A family, you was our son, maybe not by blood, but everything else you was, and you are our pride and joy. I know it's going to be tough, but do feel sorry for us that we are gone. Enjoy your life to the fullest, go to school, make friends, have a big family, and no matter what protect them with all your strength, and know that we will always be with you on your journey. We will always be proud of you. We love you, son. Love, mom and dad. I folded the letter and put it into my pocket and then put it in my inventory. As I felt tears start to spill out of my eyes, I tried to hold them back, but I couldn't help it. I felt a hand on my shoulder as I looked at my father, as he had his eyes closed as he said, "Sirzechs. They was good people, son, it's okay to cry, don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise." That made the damn worse as even more tears started to come out. Time skip. I was finally able to get my tears under control. Throughout this, my father had his hand on my shoulder for support. Mother had teleported to the Grimory estate to set up a few things. I heard my father then say, "Sirzechs. Rest Issei, you need it." I nodded, but I had no intention of resting. From what I've read, there has to be some kind of test to see if I'm actually a member of the Grimory clan, which I can't really blame them. I laid back in my chair as I closed my eyes and thought, "Issei. Instant dungeon." Just then I was in that field again as I then saw magic circles starting to appear around me, but this time it was skeletons with katanas. They was really slow, but perfect for farming as well. I'll have weapons. A smirk came to my face. Time skip. As I held a katana in my hand, I panted as I saw this. "You have killed X40 skeletons. You have gained 1400 XP. Level up X3. Added X40 class D katanas to your inventory." I panted as I took a better look at the katana in my hand. They all looked like this. I then put it into my inventory as I looked at my stats. Stats. Name. Issei Haidu. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil human hybrid. Title. None. Fame. None. Sacred gear. Boosted gear. Level. 8. HP. 1200 regen 25 per minute. Stamina. 1200 regen 50 per minute. MP. 3400 regen 100 per minute. Strength. 16. Endurance. 16. Agility. 16. Intelligence. 16. Wisdom. 16. Luck. 5 points. 15. Money. $100. I saw that the question marks was now a few words that said boosted gear. Before I could do anything, I saw this. Sacred gear unlocked. Boosted gear. The boosted gear is one of the Longina sacred gear capable of killing God. To activate the boosted gear, focus your MP into your dominant hand and think of releasing a power that's hidden within. I did as it said and closed my eyes as I held my right hand to my chest. I focused my MP into my right hand as I then tried to release whatever it was. Just then I heard a small mechanical noise. As I opened my eyes, I looked at my right hand and saw a sleeveless red gauntlet with a green gem in it. I then saw this. Boosted gear twice critical version. Details. When this version of your sacred gear is activated for 3 minutes, all your stats will be doubled. Once that 3 minutes is over, your increased stats will go back to normal. Your sacred gear will evolve with your level, so level up to evolve your sacred gear. Also, the power of your will can even give your sacred gear new forms. I looked at it, it felt like there was so much power in my hand, but it felt like there was more to it than meets the eye. Issei. Size, I wonder how far I can go with you. I say to the gauntlet, but nothing came out. I then focused and put it away as I then saw a bunch more magic circles appear as I took out a katana from my inventory. Time skip. I was currently sitting on a rock that was in the field as I saw this. You have killed X65 skeletons. You have gained 2270 XP. Level up X3. Added X65 class D katanas to your inventory. I then looked at my stats. Stats. Name. Issei Haidu. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil human hybrid. Title. None. Fame. None. Sacred gear. Boosted gear. Level. 11. HP. 1500 regen 25 per minute. Stamina. 1500 regen 50 per minute. MP. 3700 regen 100 per minute. Strength. 19. Endurance. 19. Agility. 19. Intelligence. 19. Wisdom. 19. Luck. 5 points. 30. Money. $100. I then put my points into my stats. Stats. Name. Issei Haidu. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil human hybrid. Title. None. Fame. None. Sacred gear. Boosted gear. Level. 11. HP. 2100 regen 25 per minute. Stamina. 2100 regen 50 per minute. MP. 4300 regen 100 per minute. Strength. 25. Endurance. 25. Agility. 25. Intelligence. 25. Wisdom. 25. Luck. 10 points. 0. Money. $100. I sighed as I closed my eyes and thought, Issei. Escape dungeon. Just then I opened my eyes to see I was still sitting by my father as he said, Sirzechs. You're awake, right? I nodded. Sirzechs. Okay, I think you know that they will want a demonstration of your power of destruction, as proof you are my child through I wish you didn't have to do that, but it is how things work in hell. Issei. It's fine but I'm curious about something. Sirzechs. Oh and what's that? Issei. If you ever say that something won't happen unless hell is frozen over, does mother go around and start to freeze everything? He thought about it for a moment till he said. Sirzechs. Chuckles only if she's mad. I then asked. Issei. So who has to see my power of destruction? It wasn't quite clear who. Sirzechs. Wait, which book? I gave him the one I was given. Sirzechs. Ah, I forgot to tell her to give you the other one. This one is somewhat out of date, but anyway, the ones that must lay witness to your power of destruction is myself Seraphol Leviathan and last Ajuka Beelzebub. Each of us are part of the last pillars of the underworld and the 4 great Satan clans. Issei. 4, but you only mentioned 3. Sirzechs. Unfortunately the last one that has to be present the Asmodeus clan, but they are busy with clan business so the leader cannot make it, so I choose another to stand in for him. He actually suggested him. I was interested. Sirzechs. He will not only be a witness, but will be the one you must use the power of destruction on. In other words, you must fight him. He is considered the strongest young devil out there. The leader of the clan also said it was fine for him to be the judge instead of him, since he had my vote as well as another. I gulped. His father said this. Sirzechs. His name is Bale. Issei. And I have to defeat him? Sirzechs. Chuckles hardly. You just need to prove that you are a devil with my family's power. There will be others in watching as well, mostly high-class devils as well as our family. I believe the other houses that are coming are Citri as well as the Phoenix clans. Issei. Is this such a big deal? Sirzechs. Puts a hand on my shoulder. Son, you have no idea you are my son, meaning you could be subjected to an assassination or kidnapped and be used as leverage against me or another devil family close to me. Issei. I didn't think about that. Sirzechs. It's fine, but remember who the Haidu family wanted you to be once you become a full-fledged high-class devil. Not all devils are evil. Be who they and who you want to be, and no matter what path you take, know that I will always back you 100%. Issei. Thanks. I waited a couple of seconds till I said. Issei. Dad. I looked at him. He smiled at me as he then said. Sirzechs. All looks like we will be arriving soon. Look outside. I did as he said as we was arriving above something. Sirzechs. Welcome to hell. Issei, your home, the Gremory clan's territory. My eyes widened at that statement. Issei. Shocked our family owns this much land. Sirzechs. Chuckles. Yes, it's quite surprising. He then handed me glasses for some reason as he stood up. Sirzechs. This will basically turn us invisible as well as hide our auras and cancel any noise we make till we take them off. It can be hard at times. I nodded and put them on as I felt the train stop as father then said. Sirzechs. Well, it's time, let's go, son. I nodded as we went to the exit. As the door opened and we stepped out, it seemed like the glasses worked. No one even paid the slightest bit of attention to us as I then saw this. Secret quest completed. Secret quest. Go to hell. Rewards. 1000x $500 win skill book. Would you like to accept these rewards? Yes, no. I immediately thought yes as I saw this. Level up x1. I then quickly looked into my inventory as I saw this. Inventory, skill books, higher magic manipulation and creation. Details. Allows the user to create and manipulate fire to turn it into fire spells. Would you like to learn this skill? Yes, no. I quickly thought yes as I quickly followed my father through the crowd. After a few minutes of walking I started spamming observe on everything I want to get its level up. Time skip. After an hour of walking I saw this. Observe has leveled up level 2100s. We then stopped at a giant stadium. It looked incredible as I heard my father. Sirzechs. Come along, Issei, we are here. I kept following him as we made it in the middle of the floor. People was talking in the stands. He then said. Sirzechs. Take the glasses off as I do. I nodded as he put his hand to his glasses. I did so, and we took them off. I handed mine to him, as with his presence alone was enough to make everyone quiet that was here, as a magic circle was under him as his clothes changed. Sirzechs. Now then, I believe we should have this test for my son. He had a magic circle, a small one right over his mouth, making his voice amplified as I then heard him. Sirzechs. Now then, I'll introduce the judges one by one. First me, next we have Ajuka Beelzebub. Just then someone stood up. I looked up at him. He then sat down as my father kept going. Sirzechs. Next we have Seraphol Leviathan. The girl stood up as I looked up at her. She sat back down as I heard my father once again. Sirzechs. Now last but not least is a guest that will be a judge, as well as getting a first-hand experience with my son's power of destruction, Bale. Just then I heard footsteps coming in on the other side of the arena as I saw him walk up. I used observe on him, but it was all question marks, meaning he was definitely too powerful for me to beat. Well, for now, as I then saw my father got to the side, once he was 20 feet away from me as he then said. Sirzechs. Now begin. Just then he teleported up to where the other judges was. As I looked at my opponent, he just gave a smile as he said, Sirzechs. So you're his oldest son. I bowed a bit and said, Issei. It's nice to meet you. My name is Issei Hido, or well, I guess it is Issei Grimmery now. Sirzechs. You're not really what I expected. Issei. What did you expect? I found out I was a devil yesterday, as well as use magic. I'm not going to change instantly. You could hear a pen drop as I heard from Seraphol Leviathan. Seraphol. Curious if that's the case, shouldn't we wait till he has a handle on his magic before this? I said towards her. Issei. Miss Seraphol, sorry, but I think I have them handled enough for at least a test, but I mainly use my ice magic if need be. I say, bowing slightly, as I then heard. Seraphol. If you're sure, but it's Serachan. I just shrugged it off as I then heard Sirzechs. Sirzechs. Oh, you know 2 kinds of magic. Issei. No, I know 3 kinds: destruction, ice and fire. I say, making a small flame in my left and making my right get covered in frost. Sirzechs. Interested? Oh well, then I was told not to attack you. Issei. Thinking I somehow feel insulted. Sirzechs. Well, unless you draw blood I will not attack you, that is my rule for testing people when I do so. Shall we begin? I nodded as I got into a fighting stance as I focused my magical power in my right hand, as I then used my ice magic as I rushed at him, and did this as I slammed my hand on the ground in front of him. I quickly jumped back with wide eyes, the literal iceberg in front of me. I looked at my hand, then the iceberg, then my hand again, as I looked up at my father and said, Issei. Confused? Father, I think I lost control. Bajuka. Okay, he's your son. That was literally you when we was younger. Sirzechs. It's fine, Issei, just continue. I nodded as the iceberg shattered as Sirzechs shrugged his shoulders and said, Sirzechs. Better than expected. I then stomped my foot on the ground and sent this at him. He dodged to the side as I then summoned a dark red magic circle in front of me. As I started to use my destruction magic, a ball of it appeared and started to get bigger till it was the size of a basketball. As I then closed my eyes and took a breath as I started to try to make it take shape, but before I closed, I heard something crackling. I looked as it was my magic. My eyes widened at this as it then blew up a bit, sending me to the ground and at Sirzechs. As dust settles, he stopped it with one hand and crushing it, he ran over to me and asked, Sirzechs. Are you okay, Issei? I nodded. Issei. Yeah, I'm fine. Don't know why it blew up again. Damn magic. Sirzechs. You should watch your aura more. Issei. The hell is aura? Sirzechs. And that's probably why it blew up, but I think that proved it for them. I then saw him extend a hand out to me. I took it as he pulled me up as we then heard my father. Sirzechs. Judges, what is your verdict? Sirzechs. I have felt the destruction magic myself, and it is just like yours, my lord. Bajuka. He literally has your personality when we was his age. Even if he didn't have the destruction magic, I can see he's your son. Seraphol. Yeah, he is your son. Sirzechs. Is there any who would claim that my child is not my son and is entitled to what is his birthright? No one said a word. Sirzechs. Then it is decided from this day forward my son Issei Hido is now known as Issei Grimmery and is from now on a high-class devil and is now second in line to the Grimmery clan. If something is to happen to both the head of the clan as well as heir to the clan, then he will be head of then clan. This I decree. Issei. Just vibing, this is so weird. Sirzechs. Ha 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 ha, I guess from your perspective it is. Just then I saw 2 magic circles appear in front of me as my father and my mother came out of it. She looked like she was happy, but keeping her maid kink on for some reason, as my father pulled a small box out of a small magic circle, as he then handed it to me, I opened it up to see. Issei. A chest set. Sirzechs. Chuckles, those are what every high-class devil gets. Just then it clicked. Issei. Evil pieces. He nodded. Sirzechs. I think it's time we introduce you to the family. Just then he turned and I saw. Chapter 3. Meeting the family and the night. We walked over to about 7 people. As we did so, my mother and father was on both sides of me. When we got to them, the guy in front looked like an older version of my father. Sirzechs. Issei, this is Sirzechs Grimmery, my father and your grandfather. Issei. Bow slightly. It's nice to meet you, grandfather. Sirzechs. Issei, it's great to finally get to see how my first grandchild has grown into a fine young man. I remember when you was first born and I held you. I then heard a woman's voice. Now dear, the poor boy has been through enough, don't add something that might conflict him. I looked at the woman. Sirzechs. This is my mother Venelana and your grandmother. Issei. Well, I now know where my hair came from. Venelana. Giggles, yes, and it suits you well, sweetheart. Issei. It's nice to meet you, grandmother. Just then I saw a small figure peek out from behind her as I heard my mother. Grayfia. Now Milikas, come and greet your older brother. My eyes widened at what she had just said as he stepped out. Milikas. Comes out from behind Venelana. It's nice to meet you, big brother. I got down onto one knee to look at him in the eyes and I smiled at him. Issei. Smiling, it's nice to meet you as well, Milikas, I hope we can get along. Before I got up I said. Issei. If you ever need me for anything, no matter how stupid you think it is, I'll always be there for you, so don't hesitate to come to me for anything. I stood up as I ruffled his hair. He whined slightly as the adults chuckled at it as I then heard. I believe it's my turn. I looked over and saw a female version of my father. She looked about my age or maybe a bit older. I then heard my father. Sirzechs. Issei, this is my younger sister, she's only 3 years older than you, she is your aunt Rias. Rias. Comes over to me and fixes my hair a bit. I remember you from when I was younger, I watched over you, well my brother has to deal with something, I would always try and play with you. Just then I saw her expression change to that of an angry one, but quickly changed back to a fine one as she said to no one in particular. Rias. If only I didn't let go that day. I was confused. Sirzechs. Rias, please, he's B. Issei. No father, I want to know what is it, Aunt Rias. Rias. It's my fault, you was taken that day from all of us, we was playing, a man came in out of breath, he looked around, saw us, I had a hold of your hand, he quickly grabbed you and started to run. Out of surprise I let go, and we never saw you again. Before anyone could do anything I put my hand on her shoulder, which looked like it surprised a lot of people as I smiled at her and said. Issei. Smiling, it's fine, without that happening I wouldn't be the person I am today. One way I'm grateful for it, because I was raised by incredible people, and now I can get to know all of you, even if it's hard. No, it's not your fault, it was the one who took me, it's him who is at fault, they no one else's. I'm just glad I'll be able to get to know my family now. I could tell this shocked people. Sirzechs. He is wiser than his years. I saw Aunt Rias, she smiled at me as she said. Rias. I'll keep that in mind. I then heard her say. Rias. Now to introduce my peerage. She said, stepping aside. She pointed to a raven-haired girl. Rias. This is my queen. Said queen came close and bowed towards me as I then heard her. It's a pleasure to meet you, my name is Akeno Himajim, and as Rias has just stated I am her queen. Issei. It's nice to meet you as well, Akeno. Just then Rias introduced another member of her peerage. Rias. This is Kiba, he is my knight. He bowed as he said. Kiba. My name is Kiba Udo, I am a knight in the service of Rias Gremory, it is an honor to meet you. Issei. Curious father, is he like mother with her maid kink, but it's a knight kink instead. Just then I looked over to my mother and father to see that both had a tint of pink on their faces as I heard mother. Grayfia. Light blush, I am head maid of the Gremory clan, it is not a kink. Sirzechs. Chuckles, he is just like you when you was his age, son. I then looked back to Kiba to see a pink tint on his face as well. While Rias and Akeno was giggling, after a minute they stopped to Kiba's relief as Aunt Rias introduced the last of her peerage. Rias. This is my rook Kaneko, she doesn't talk much. Kaneko. Sup. Issei. Sup. Just then we both nodded at each other like we already knew what it meant as we all then heard. Sirzechs. Now that everyone has been introduced, I believe we should get our late lunch that our chefs have so kindly prepared for us, grayfia if you will. Grayfia. Of course my lord. She then placed a red magic circle down as everyone hopped onto it, she then activated it as a bright light appeared as it died down. I opened my eyes to see this. Issei. Whoa. Sirzechs. This is the Gremory clan home, welcome home. I looked at everyone's smiling faces, I couldn't help the smile that snuck onto my face as I said. Issei. Smiling, it's good to be back. Just then we started to go inside as I saw this. Secret quest completed. Secret quest. Become a high-class devil. Rewards. 3,000 exp, $1,500 win skill book. Would you like to accept these rewards? Yes, no. I immediately thought yes as I saw this. Level up X2. As we walked through the Gremory clan household, it was incredible to look at everything. After a while a photo caught my eyes. It was my mother and father looking down at a bundle in their arms, a baby one with brown hair just like mine, as well as brown eyes just like mine. I stopped, causing the others to do as well as I felt a hand on my shoulder. I looked up to see my grandfather as everyone saw what I saw. He said. Sirzechs. Yes, Issei, that's you. I know it must feel surreal, this whole situation, but no, we are all here for you now, and nothing like what happened before will ever happen again. I could only nod as he said. Sirzechs. Come now, time to have lunch. I'm Skip. We was eating currently just some grilled chicken with roasted potatoes and green beans. It's nice as I looked at my stats. Stats. Name. Issei Gremory. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil human hybrid. Title. High class devil. Fame. The Found Gremory. Sacred gear. Boosted gear. Level. 14. HP. 2400 regen 25 per minute. Stamina. 2400 regen 50 per minute. MP. 4600 regen 100 per minute. Strength. 28. Endurance. 28. Agility. 28. Intelligence. 28. Wisdom. 28. Luck. 10 points. 15. Money. $2,100. As I ate another piece of my chicken I put my points into my stats. Stats. Name. Issei Gremory. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil-human hybrid. Title. High-class devil. Fame. The Found Gremory. Sacred gear. Boosted gear. Level. 14. HP. 2700 regen 25 per minute. Stamina. 2700 regen 50 per minute. MP. 4900 regen 100 per minute. Strength. 31. Endurance. 31. Agility. 31. Intelligence. 31. Wisdom. 31. Luck. 15. Points. 0. Money. $2,100. I then looked into my inventory to see this. Inventory. Skill books. Organic power. Details. Allows the user to gain an increase of 15% to both strength and agility for 3 minutes, when used costs 10 MP, and can't be used for 5 minutes after the 3 minutes is up. Would you like to learn this skill? Yes, no. I thought yes and I hope I can find a place to try to use it, but before I could think more on that matter I heard my grandmother. Then Alana. Issei dear, don't you think it's wise to go ahead and use your king piece on yourself? Issei. How? I then heard Aunt Rias. Rias. Giggles, you have to prick your finger with a needle or something and drop the blood onto the king piece, and through that the other pieces as well as the king piece are bound to you and may cause them to evolve into mutation pieces, which are worth 3 times more than a regular piece. Only 1 in 10 devils can get one. It's extremely rare for someone to get more than one. For example, I have a mutated bishop. I nodded in understanding as I heard her again. Rias. True, I did hear a few things from Sona that someone's current ability and potential affects them. That was her theory. Sirzechs. Interested? Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to ask Ajuka at some point about that. Rias. Anyways, after you do that hold it to your chest and it will automatically go in your being fusing with you per se. I nodded as I saw a maid come over with a dagger. I had my evil pieces by my plate. I took the dagger as I opened up the small wooden box as I took out the king piece and I looked at it as I asked. Issei. What else will happen? Sirzechs. It all depends on the person. Your magical power could increase your strength, could, or even agility. It's all different for each and every person. For me my magic power dramatically increased. Rias. My magic power did as well, but my endurance did as well. I nodded as I looked at the dagger. I then took it as I pricked my finger as I then dripped my blood onto the evil king piece. After I dropped 3 drops of my blood, the sound instantly healed, surprising a few as the evil pieces started to glow a fair red color, but there was tinge of green there as well. Once it was over, I saw both Rias and my father stand up quickly as I heard my aunt. Rias. Shock. No, this can't be. Sirzechs. 8 mutation pieces. I looked at what he meant and I saw that there was 9 that was different than the regular looking ones. 4 pawns, a bishop, a knight, a rook and my queen pieces. I was confused. Issei. Confused? Did I break the system? Sirzechs. Amused. Oh, the uncanny resemblance between you and my son, this is so amusing. Grayfia. Should I call Ajuka? Sirzechs. No, I don't think so. As you remember, something similar happened with Serafal where she had got 5 mutation pieces and she was about at his power at his age, if that's anything to go off of then. Just then it looked like everyone shuddered at that till it dawned on me. Serafal, that girl from earlier, she is one of the leaders of the devils. If she was my age when she got her pieces and now she's a devil king, I wonder how powerful I will become by then. Issei. So it's not technically impossible to get this many? That calmed down some as Aunt Rias and my father sat back down as he said. Sirzechs. Clear as throat. Yes, it would seem. I then picked up the king piece as I closed my eyes and held it to my chest. A magic circle appeared and it started to go into my chest. As it went inside fully I grabbed the table. A pain shot through my body. Issei. In pain? Fuck. I gripped the table so hard that the places where I had gripped started to crack. This made both my father and mother come to my side immediately as I started to see something coming off of me. It was red. As the pain increased, so did this red thing. Issei. In pain? What the hell? Sirzechs. Worried? It's okay son, the pain will pass. Grayfia. Worried? It's fine sweetie, we're here, just bear with it. The red thing around me kept getting bigger and bigger till the wall behind me started to crack, and as suddenly as the pain started, it stopped. As I breathed out a sigh of relief I asked. Issei. Sighs? The hell was that? Sirzechs. Relieved. There's a chance that one will experience pain when absorbing the king piece, but it's only last a few seconds. I then saw this. Secret quest completed. Secret quest. Become king of the peerage. Rewards. 1000x $500 win skill book. Would you like to accept these rewards? Yes, no. I thought yes as the others sat back down after making sure I was okay. I then looked at this red this as I asked. Issei. What is this red thing around me? Sirzechs. That's your aura, or in other words your magic. You allow people to see it increase to double its original amount. What happened? I closed my eyes as I looked at my stats. Stats. Name. Issei Gremory. Age. 15. Gender. Male. Race. Devil-human hybrid. Title. High-class devil. Fame. The Found Gremory. Sacred gear. Boosted gear. Level. 14. HP. 5400 regen 25 per minute. Stamina. 5400 regen 50 per minute. MP. 9800 regen 100 per minute. Strength. 31. Endurance. 31. Agility. 31. Intelligence. 31. Wisdom. 31. Luck. 15. Money. $2,600. I opened my eyes as I said, Issei. It seems I can take twice as much damage and run twice as long, and my magical power doubled as well. Sirzechs. Interesting. Time skip. After lunch I was showed a tour of the entire Gremory household. As we made it to my room, there was a lot of videos, games, manga and an I'm in here. Third person POV. We leave Issei and go to where Rias and her peerage is on a balcony of the Gremory household as she looked out at the horizon she then said, addressing her peerage. Rias. Everyone listen to what I have to say. This caught their attention. Rias. If you ever see Issei ever in trouble needing help or needing someone to protect him, please do so for me, not your king, but as your friend. The Keno. I believe we would do that anyway, Rias. The last two nodded as well, agreeing with the queen. Rias. Thank you guys, I'm glad to have you as my family. Issei's POV. I was laying on new bed, it's a king-size shocker, but I like the pun. I looked at my hand as I saw started to make my aura appear. They taught me how to control it, so that was nice. I stood up and walked over to the balcony in my room. I looked up at the evening sky, it was beautiful. I couldn't help but ask out loud. Issei. Do I really deserve this? Why did they have to die? Maybe it should have been me. Just then I heard from behind me. Sirzechs. I doubt they would ever want that. I turned to see my grandfather there. Sirzechs. Points at open door. Your door was opened and I walked by and heard you. Issei. Sorry. Sirzechs. It's fine. He walked over to me as he put a hand on my shoulder and he said. Sirzechs. I was told they cared for you so much. If you was to die instead of them, then they would have lost their son. I am a father myself. I couldn't live with myself if I was in a crash, and I lived while my children died in it. Take it from me, Issei. If you could talk to them now, they would be happy that you're trying to move on, that you lived and are trying to be happy. Issei. Thank you, grandfather. Sirzechs. Now then, there's another reason I am here. I looked up at him. Sirzechs. Have you taken your medicine today? Issei. Crap, I knew I forgot something. I went over to my suitcase, but I heard my grandfather. Sirzechs. It's not in there, Issei. Your mother has it. Come, let's go find her. I nodded as we left together. We walked down the halls. As we did so, a few maids walked past us. As they bowed politely, I waved at them as we went on as my grandfather asked. Sirzechs. So Issei, what do you think about the devil community? Issei. I haven't really seen much of it. Sirzechs. Mischievous. Oh well, then I believe it would be best if me and you go on a grandparent day out tomorrow, but don't tell anyone. I got a few ideas that they might not like. Issei. That sounds fun. We both nodded in a knowing look on us as we finally found my mother as well as Rias. Once they saw us, I heard my mother say. Grayfia. Issei, you need to remember to take your medication, or else you may have a ditzy spell. From what I read on it would be like you're sleepwalking, but be able to use all your abilities. That would be very bad if it happened. Please don't forget. Rias. We each have a bottle of your medicine in case you can't find yours, so just ask. I nodded. I'm glad they're worried about me. It's nice to know they care. I then heard my mother. Grayfia. Also, we are holding a party late tonight, 9 p.m, to celebrate you coming home to us, as well as a way to contribute to your peerage. There will be devils there who are in peerages as well. Intelligent monsters who align themselves with us will be there. Everyone there will be available to join your peerage, but must go through the kings, and if you do trade, a piece of equivalent power must be given unless something else happened. Your aunt's peerage as well as the Citries are going to be guarding this event, so please don't worry about anything. I nodded as my grandfather said. Sirzechs. Now then, Issei, let's go. I think we should leave them to deal with the party. We shouldn't trouble them. I nodded as we left them. I waved to them as we left as I heard him ask. Sirzechs. Do you know how to use your magic properly? Issei. I'm still learning. Sirzechs. Smirks. In that case. Just then a magic circle was under the both of us as a bright light appeared. As I opened my eyes back up, I saw we was in the arena from earlier. He then stepped back about 20 feet as he said. Sirzechs. Now then, with your ice magic you mainly send it out, which is effective, but it's a tell where you're going for. Issei. Then what do I do? Sirzechs. You need to have focus. Channel your ice magic into your hand. I nodded and closed my eyes as I did so. Sirzechs. Good, now look at where I am. I did so. Sirzechs. Imagine a ice spike erupting from the earth where I am when you punch the ground. I nodded as I then punched the ground. Just then I saw ice spike erupt from the earth where he was. As I saw this, New skill acquired. Ice spike. Details. Allows the user to punch the ground and an ice spike will erupt from the earth to try to hit the enemy, costs 30 MP. Sirzechs. Standing on the tip of the ice spike, very good, next fire. I nodded. Sirzechs. Make a small fire in your palm. I did so. Sirzechs. Good, now shape it into a ball and send it at me. It was actually really easy to do so. As it was about to hit him, he blew the air in front of him, sending it upwards as he then said. Sirzechs. Great. I saw this. New skill acquired. Fireball. Details. Allows the user to shoot a ball of fire at an enemy, costs 20 MP. Sirzechs. Now then hold your finger out. I did so. Sirzechs. Now channel your destruction magic at the very tip. Issei. Kinda worried, are you sure? Sirzechs. Trust me, just enough to look like a small marble now. I nodded as I did so. After a few seconds I stopped and he nodded as he then said. Sirzechs. Now shape it very slowly into a small needle. I nodded. After a minute of doing so I was able to do it as I saw it. I could feel the power in it, no matter how small it was destruction magic. I then saw this. New skill acquired. Destruction needle. Details. Allows the user to make a small needle of destruction magic to shoot at an enemy. Upon contact with anything it will cause a small explosion, costs 15 MP. I then heard. Sirzechs. Good, now shoot it at me. I nodded and threw it at him. He just put a magic circle in his hands as he swatted it away. Sirzechs. Now then, let's continue with training. Small time skip. I was panting slightly as I saw this. 8 new skills acquired. Fire arrow. Details. Allows the user to create an arrow made out of fire magic and send it at an enemy, costs 25 MP. Fireball storm. Details. Rains down 50 fireballs at enemy, costs 300 MP. Fire bomb. Details. Allows the user to make a fireball that 3 times the size of a regular fireball, but upon contact explodes, costs 50 MP. Icy burst. Details. Allows the user to send out a burst of icy frost that covers the enemies in front of him in a mist of ice, and frost, costs 30 MP. Icicle lance. Details. Shoots a lance of ice at someone, costs 30 MP. Ice walk. Details. While running, the user sends out ice with both hands continuously. While doing so, he starts to make a ramp of ice in front of his and uses this to skates all around, confusing his enemy, costs 150 MP. Destruction arrow. Details. Sends an arrow made of destruction magic at an enemy which explodes on contact, costs 35 MP. Destruction ball. Details. Allows the user to create a large ball of destruction magic to send at an enemy, costs 100 MP. I then saw this. Fire magic manipulation and creation leveled up level 10 100s. Ice magic manipulation and creation leveled up level 15 100s. Destruction magic manipulation and creation leveled up level 13 100s. Secret quest completed. Secret quest. Create at least 10 spells. Rewards. 1000xd $500 win skill book. Would you like to accept these rewards? Yes, no. I thought yes as I saw this. Level up x1. I then heard my grandfather as he walked up to me. He smiled and said. Sirzechs. Smiles, you've done incredible, Issei, but I believe it's time to head back. They're going to probably be looking for you. I nodded and said. Issei. Thank you, grandfather, for teaching me how to do this. Sirzechs. Think nothing of it, it's the duty of the old to pass on their knowledge to the young. I nodded as he made a magic circle and we was back in my room as I then heard him say. Sirzechs. Just rest till it's time for the party. If you want a snack to hold you over till then, just go to the kitchen. The maids or the chefs are more than willing to get you something. I nodded as he then left and I laid on my bed. Time skip. It was currently 7 PM. I played some games and read some manga, but I am getting hungry, so I exited my room and headed down to get a snack. As I got there I saw people was working in there, but there was 3 maids that was at the side. They saw me and one came over and bowed and asked. Maid. Bow slightly. How may I assist you, Lord Gremory? Issei. Sorry for asking, but is it okay if I get a snack, and please just call me Issei? She nodded and said. Maid. Very well, young master, what would you like? I saw mischievous look in her eyes. Issei. I'm not sure, miss. Maid. Anna. Issei. Miss Anna, what do you think? Anna. Young master, you shouldn't address a maid like that. You don't need to show respect to us like that, you know. Issei. Why wouldn't I? Not only do devils live a very long time, meaning I could be talking to an elderly person, so I must show my respect, and my name is Issei. I saw a tick mark on her as she said. Anna. I'm only 80 years old, I'm hardly elderly. Issei. Oh, then I should show my respect, because at that age isn't that when hair is grey and your wrinkles show the best. I say, seeing the other 2 maids watch us go back and forth till my stomach growled, making my face turn red as the 3 maid giggled as Anna said. Anna. How about a sandwich and a bottle of water? I just nodded as she left to get it. After a minute she came back with it as she handed it to me. I left and started to eat it. After I was done I started to drink the water as I looked into my inventory. Inventory, skill books, sensor boost. Details. Allows the user to sense incoming attacks, even if they are hidden by magic for 5 minutes, costs 10 MP. Would you like to learn this skill? Yes, no. I thought yes. As I drank the rest of my water I looked around. I didn't see a trash can, so I just put it into my inventory as I walked back to my room. Time skip. I was told it was just a casual party, so I didn't need to dress different or in a suit. I was outside of an area. I was told that I had to wait till my name was called. I didn't really care. I then heard my father. Sirzechs. May I have your all's attention please? After a few seconds of silence he continued. Sirzechs. Firstly, thank you all for coming for this party and open to the idea of trading a piece of your peerage. Now why we have this party is because my oldest son a little over 14 years ago was kidnapped, but had since been found. I present to the underworld my son Issei Grimory. Just then curtain opened up and I stepped out onto what was a stage in a ballroom as I waved to the crowd in a friendly way as my father came up to me with his hand on my shoulder. Sirzechs. Now that he has been introduced, please talk to each other, have fun, learn about each other. He said for the whole room to hear as he then said to me. Sirzechs. Go on Issei, have fun. I nodded and left off the stage. Time skip. It's been over an hour. There is nobody here that isn't cocky. That they're in a certain household. The Phoenix want to be more specific. They was the worst. Others was still cocky, but not as much. I even had some kings of peerages try to offer me other things. It was irritating. I then heard a voice behind me. It's exhausting, isn't it? I turned to see a girl around my aunt's age. Issei. Yeah it is. I am Sona Citri. It's nice to meet Ria's nephew. She says, bowing slightly. I do the same as well. Issei. It's nice to meet you to Miss Citri. Sona. Smiles. Please, it's only your Ria's nephew after all. Me and her are like sisters. I nodded. Issei. Thank you Sona. Sona. I better get back. I just thought I should introduce myself. I nodded as she left. I let out a sigh. There was a bunch of small tables, but a lot of them was occupied. I went all the way into the back. There I found one with old man at it. He was sipping tea and had looked up at me as I said. Issei. Is this seat taken? I say, referring to the seat right by him. It is not. I nodded and sat down as I let out a tired sigh as I heard him. Tired? Issei. Of several things. It's best to let things out. I happen to be good at listening. Issei. Really, I don't want to bother Mr. Hakiru, and it's not a bother. Issei. Shrugged. It's just I was hoping that the people here wouldn't be so freaking cocky and condescending. It's frustrating. Even the people who seem devils are like that. It's so freaking weird. Why is everyone here cocky about one thing or another? Hakiru. Being around devils tends to do that, but some devils aren't like that, yourself included. I can tell you are kind-hearted. Issei. Huh, but I'm not. Hakiru. Chuckles. Oh, to be young and oblivious about one's nature. I couldn't help it. I pouted, but then I heard. Smack. I turned quickly to see Anna on the ground holding her cheek as a guy was over her. You dare speak to Ryder with such familiarity, to you low-born filth. I stood up and I was mad. Not only did he hurt a maid under my family's household, but he is now insulting her. He was about to grab her as I grabbed his hand as he said. The dare grabs Riser's hand. He looked down at me. I was mad. Issei. You get away from her. I say. He back up slightly and asked. Riser. Why protect this low-born filth? I am putting her in her place. Issei. Pissed. Not only have you assaulted a member of the Grimory household, but you have even insulted her. I cannot stand for that. I now know why your peerage is so cocky. Riser. Riser. Scoffs as if a being that just learned his heritage could understand. You are ignorant if you can't understand. Just then the hand he was pointing at me with was cut off as flames started to regenerate. My eyes widened as I saw Hakiru sheath his sword and say. Hakiru. Not only have you hurt someone under the Grimory clan, which is already overstepping, you have insulted a Grimory in their own home. Know your place. His eyes flashed dangerously as if daring Riser to say something else. Riser. TSK, this was a stupid party anyway. He then walked away as I turned to Anna and bent down and held out my hand. Issei. Miss Anna, are you okay? I saw her nod as she took my hand and said as I pulled her up. Anna. Thank you young master, but you didn't have to do that. Issei. I just couldn't stand by and watch a nice lady like you have that happen. I saw her as I said. Issei. Don't worry, if you need help just ask. I smiled at her as she nodded and left as I heard Hakiru. Hakiru. Not kind-hearted him. I could tell he had a shit-eating grin on his face as I looked at him. It was hidden by that scarf. Issei. Idea. Hey Hakiru. Hakiru. Yes. Issei. What would you say to joining my peerage? Hakiru. Are you sure you want an old man on your side? Issei. That old man was the only one that stood up to Riser with me. I say, looking around knowing people could have helped but they didn't. Hakiru. Issei. Besides, you're incredible with a sword and I need to learn how to use one. Hakiru. Interested. Oh, it's been a while since I tortured the young in the art of swordplay. Issei. Sweat drops. You're joking, right? Hakiru. Chuckles. You'll have to find out now, won't you? Issei. Is that a yes? Hakiru. It is. Issei. Thank you, I hope you won't regret this. I took out my evil pieces and used observe on him. Observe, name. Hakiru. Age. 350. Race. Ogre. Title. Demon Swordsman. Fame. Evil Swords Instructor. Sacred Gear. None. HP. 15,000. Stamina. 18,000. MP. 20,000. Level. 120. Strength. 120. Endurance. 120. Agility. 120. Intelligence. 120. Wisdom. 120. Luck. 60. My eyes widened at this, but shook it off as I took out a knight piece, my regular one. They said I would feel the need when to use the mutation pieces. I didn't feel it, so I just took out a evil knight piece as I put it into Hakiru's hand as he held it to his chest as I said, Issei. Hakiru, join me on our journey, you shall be my sword and I your shield, be reborn into the house of Grimory, become my knight and live, if not for yourself then for me. Just then the knight piece sunk into his chest as a bright light erupted from him. Once it died down, he changed, he didn't look older, he looked younger. I used observe on him as he took a knee with a smile on his face. Observe, name. Hakiru. Age. 350. Gender. Male. Race. Devil Ogre Hybrid. Title. Demon Swordsman. Fame. Evil Sword Instructor. Sacred Gear. None. Level. 120. HP. 15,000. Stamina. 23,000. MP. 20,000. Strength. 120. Endurance. 120. Agility. 140. Intelligence. 120. Wisdom. 120. Luck. 60. Issei. Welcome to my family, Hakiru. Hakiru. I'm glad I can be a part of it. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.